Man. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Yax.
Here.
Johnston.
Here.
Small.
Here.
Brumman. Here. Brady.
Here. Accept the motion to approve the minutes from April 3rd.
So moved.
Seconded. Moved to seconded. Any further comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comment, 3-minute limit. Please state your name and your township. Anybody? Okay. Here we go. Presentation, starting with Aaron Mahalik and Troy Summers.
Right off the bat. Okay. Tria said she printed you guys the whole, report there. These are the fun stuff that needs to be signed. Assessed value from last year increased 19.22%. And taxable,
Say 19. Okay, keep going.
and last year was 16.
Yeah.
And before that, the last time we had double digit increases was 2002, or, yeah, 2003. You guys had a chance to browse it, have any questions?
So what, I see we have, what is our taxable value now, 947, tentative?
Yep.
Expectation of the reduction? You know, for review stuff and, anything else, any ideas?
Rollback, you mean?
Yeah.
There was, most of them had, I think, had a rollback.
You'll have the vets that, if they're not already on there, I think most of them in Elkhorn County, which is. I think most of the assessors acted on them already, so I'm anticipating unless there's a
That's a pretty
new.
good number, 947.
Yeah, unless there's a new veteran that comes in and applies. And I'm anticipating board review, just like normal July, and because now they can handle the assessors can handle the vets anytime through the year. They can handle PREs anytime through the year also. They don't have to go to July, so I'm anticipating zero probably. That will go probably. You might have some poverty. I think Ted Summers in Guston, if he does have one, he doesn't act on it till July. Unless it's an old one that's already been given it, because he waits till their tax return, till they file their tax return. But otherwise, I think that would be your only one, that your poverty exemptions that you would have. come
I thought
to
you were
your-
talking millage.
No, I'm thinking, yeah, with that change.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're at a 6.85% increase from 23 to 24, right? So what's inflation? You guys know that number yet?
5.
So we're looking at a rollback or something. I had to roll back a little bit.
Depends on new.
Yeah.
We haven't got, I mean, we're just working on our 28th column. So I'm assuming we just did IASCO this morning, and yes, there will be a rollback. 0.99, something like that, not. That,
Huge, but some.
yeah, some kind of rollback. Mhm. I think there was very limited that, even your townships are about that too. I think there's only like 2 or 3. I wanna say Guston might be one that doesn't, there's, like I said, 2 or 3 that do not have a rollback. And then, of course, your new villages don't get a rollback if they're new coming on. And I don't know if Steph would maybe be able to answer if there's something coming up on August.
Well, there's for sure a lot of things coming up. So I was gonna ask, and probably not the right time, but if we could send that language for you to update the number, help us update those numbers.
Yeah, you just take the taxable value times whatever millage.
Yeah.
You know, if it's 1 million times the taxable
Trina knows how to do it.
0.001,
On this page in your
All right,
just,
jacket.
yeah, you just whatever you wanna, we'll help if she can't. I mean,
Okay.
we're gonna get together with Steph and still go over the 29s, like we said previously, with Steph, just so she gets a grip on it and knows what's what, because.
On the page that discusses the exempts, I am really guessing at the 12th page in. Sure. just before you get into the DNR rollback, I'm a little puzzled. You've got all the townships listed with totals, and then you have, I can't find why you listed Guston and Hawes separately down below.
The village.
That's the village, it says right above, Village of Lincoln,
Okay, gotcha.
because it's in two different
Yeah,
townships, which is a pain, but that's the way it is. When you get that,
The other question that I have, and I talked briefly with Aaron about it, do we have a count on how many veteran exempts there are
there is a report you can run,
in here?
not in here,
Oh.
it's gonna be hard, I mean, if you want it, because you can do it anytime,
Right,
so
right.
you really don't know.
No, you don't, but
As of right now, we could give you a count, but not in this report, there is not. I mean, you could run a report for the exemption as of
it
right
would
now.
be interesting deviating way out in, in the hinterland, but it would be interesting to look at the percentage against population or against value, I don't know which, at the different counties as to what they say the veteran population is, as opposed to the exempt veterans when it comes to taxing. I think that would be an interesting number across this region.
So you're saying the exempt vets and the not exempt?
Yeah, well, no,
Not all of them are 100% disabled.
how many exempts there are in Iosco, Presqu'île?
As a percentage of the total population.
Per county.
Well, and then look at the number of veterans that they claim and the number of veteran exemptions there are, not necessarily by dollar value. But is there a consistent pattern? Is it similar throughout our region?
Gotcha.
It's hard to say because like I hate to keep on bringing up Adams, but like in Guston, I don't think they are, maybe one or two. But then you get into another township, like in Harrisville, I think Harrisville has maybe a dozen. I mean, so it does, I mean, per township varies quite a bit.
And I'm not looking so much at townships as at county,
Yeah, we can, I
county
can,
against county against county.
yeah, we can, I mean,
And
well,
I'm not asking you to do that, but I'm saying I was speculating and
yeah, we can.
Well, I'd like to see I would like to see veterans exemptions, just curious how many there are in the county.
I know we're
And
in,
we can work with Tony on the veterans to see how many vets we have. Well,
well, we can run our report and I'm sure Alpena and Iosco will be more than glad to.
yeah,
And we know Presqu'île would be another, probably a good one. I'm just trying, and maybe Aranac. Just on the east
yeah.
side here, unless you want to go in further.
No.
Maybe Oscoda County. We'll dig something up. We'll ask the other counties to give us a report and kind of,
It's the wandering mind and it wanders too far.
yeah.
Any other questions?
Just-
Good.
All right,
Yeah, just make sure when you sign them, Adam,
yep,
that she needs the original. And we'll need a copy of them when he gives them to you, signed.
I haven't signed them yet either.
So, yeah, she'll have to sign the original too. Okay? Thank you.
yeah, go ahead.
I would like to move to authorize the chair to sign the 2024 equalization report as presented.
Support. Well supported. Any further comments? Roll call, please.
Johnston.
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
Small.
Yes.
Yax.
Yes.
Brumman.
Yes.
All right. Carries. Next up, Kathleen Bell.
Good afternoon. So as stated earlier in the year at the, special meeting we had, we would like to renew our village for 911. However, our board had voted on, our previous millage was a 6-year millage. And we voted on a, changing to a 4-year. So I had sent Stephanie the verbiage for the millage. And we are right now not sure if that means the verbiage would cause it to be a new millage. Okay, we were waiting to hear back from Charlie, so we weren't sure. So if it was a new millage, if I would have to change it, or if it would still be a, renewal.
Yeah, change the term, it'd be a.
Okay.
Tom did not seem to think that it would
Oh,
change it and that it would remain a renewal, because it wasn't changing the amount. You were asking for lesser years, but he's in Lansing today. And, if you guys motion to approve it upon council, or if it needs to be amended, that's up to you.
Well, we can also wait and approve it the first meeting.
At May 1st,
May,
correct?
you know.
I can come back, yeah, this just transferred.
I think MS
Boy, I
is coming back
appreciate
May
your,
1st too.
you doing this, because, like I say, every year we end up having a special meeting right before it's time to, oh, deadline,
I'm
here
trying to
we
be
go.
proactive.
No, that's where I was trying to think of. But anyway, yeah, that's good. So the purpose obviously being you want an opportunity to adjust the millage sooner if the funds need to be, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I guess once we get the answers on it, then
This is,
Put you on to the next agenda.
you've got this for 5 years, Kathy.
it should be for, it should be
24, 25, 26, 27.
Inclusive.
You would not include 28.
oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I think so.
What was the reason the short name?
We just said,
So if they wanna change the verbiage, they need more millage.
So yeah, if in the future, if we need more millage, if we have more equipment issues or, yeah, so we'd be able to adjust at that time.
all right, we'll hammer up the budget between now and the first meeting of, May and. we'll-
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank
very much.
you, thanks.
Next up, Lauren DeSonia, equalization quarterly report.
Did everyone get a chance to look over what I handed you? I know it was very slow meeting, but. That's kind of an overview of what we've done in equalization the last couple of years and the difference between 22 to coming into 24. Land divisions and combinations have been pretty steady, although we do not do Caledonia townships and Mankato townships land divisions and combinations, but I did include them in there so you can see kind of what's going on throughout the whole county. Our revenue kind of went down in 23. I think a lot of that had to do with getting rid of the tax roll. We used to send out the tax roll to a bunch of companies, where now we are not, we are only sending out the assessment rolls. And it kind of goes into the recorded documents that are processed. So I couldn't give you a total. Missy kind of gives you a total throughout the year. But what our office does, so we are kind of low right now for the quarter. But our busy time is coming up. And again, if you look kind of through the combinations and splits, we're pretty low, but normally June, July, and August are our high months for that. And then our appraisals are pretty steady. We're not completely done for 2024 with our final appraisals that we'll go out and do. We're still getting deeds in for March and kind of February still. That will be finalized probably in the next 2 weeks. And then I will go out and start doing my appraisals, and I will be out of the office 1 to 2 times a week. Other than that, everything's going good in equalization. Brianna is going to get her MCAT in May. Have it here. May 16th, 17th, and the 20th. She will be in Gaylord getting her MCAT. Hopefully all goes well and she passes that. And we are getting ready to flop over to our 2025 database. So then anyone who's connected to assessing will have to move over to the new 2025 database. And then upcoming things in the office that we're looking at doing is moving the office back to how it used to be before COVID. So I used to be in the center, which I think we're gonna maybe put Rayanne back there and make the front room more of a public access for assessors and anyone coming to look up information, kind of. Not sure whenever Dave is available, he's pretty swamped, so that's kind of all I got for you. Any questions?
Thank you.
No, really not. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, and then, we have Eliza Seltzer, from Waste Management, but it looks like she didn't come.
She's working with John, getting some.
Oh,
somebody else, oh, sure, excellent. Thank you, Sharon.
thank you very much. Well, let's do the claims and the budget amendment.
Okay, I guess, yeah. I'd like to make a motion to approve pre-authorized claims and open claims presented for payment between April 30th, 24 and April 16th of 24 for check numbers 153-769 to 154-013 and e-checks 2352 to 2358 for a grand total of $625,780.74.
Support.
Who supported? Any questions, comments, concerns? Roll call.
Small,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Yax.
Yes.
Next up is we have to vote on the transfer funds for the 911 equipment that they're going to be purchasing. Well, I'll start by making a motion to address the fund. Need to add 120,000 from fund balance into cover for the new equipment.
Support.
So move to supported. So what this is that, we're initially back when we were budgeting, we spoke about putting the money in there already, but it just never, it wasn't requested to be moved in. So at this point in time, we have to do it now instead.
So is this in addition to the 60 already?
The 60, well, it's supposed to be 180
Oh.
already.
Oh.
It was supposed to be that, but the 60 just stayed in because when the budget was submitted, that was
It's for the new
left
phone
out.
system,
Yeah, that we're going to get it.
which is 4 to 6 months to get, but.
So the money was already planned for, blah, 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 we just have to do it official. All right, any more questions, comments, concerns? Roll call, please.
Yax,
Yes.
Johnston,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes. All right, finance reports. So. Where do I want to start? I don't know when the equipment budget change. Where's that about? I can't remember what it's about, Dave.
911 did. EMS.
Oh, there it is. Why do I have it in two places? That's weird. Okay, yes, okay, so, okay. All right, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna get a second, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the purchase of, 2018 Chevrolet Tahoe for how much here it is, $23,900. And also to outfit it, for $15,115 for EMS.
I'll support.
Move to support it. Now let's get into the meat of this. So here's what happened. In 2023, we're formulating the budget for 2024 with EMS and planned and put money in to purchase a echo unit. This is a ALS non-transport paramedic unit. So the Chevy Tahoe would be used to go on a scene where you need extra support, but not necessarily transport, or if transport's not available, somebody can at least go and prep patients or whatever needs to be done. So here's what happened. The vehicle's already purchased. So we're putting the cart, was way before the horse on this. But in order to make the books all more legit and better, we need to vote to approve that purchase.
The money, we did budget.
We did budgeted the money.
Purchase.
But the purchase should have been approved through us
Yes.
before it was made.
Because if it was over 20,000 needed for it.
Yeah.
Got it. Then what happened? Yep.
So this is to run ahead of the ambulance calls.
This is
No.
instead of like taking another ambulance, a lot of times, so the director will actually either take his personal vehicle, and instead he'll have this and have it outfitted with everything he needs to.
If the ambulance come out, they can replace it without a trip to the hospital.
So part of it is, so one of the big things we wanted was the paramedicine program.
Mhm.
And that could, we fill that position where we entered into an agreement with Mid-Michigan providing follow-up care to those who had just been, come out of the hospital, save us to send another rig to Alpena, save people another trip to Alpena, our paramedicine program. And we do have 5 paramedics who are paramedicine certified.
Mhm.
So the program, hopefully now with the unit, and that's what's been the holdup, we talked about this 5 years ago. The holdup has been having the unit to do it, so hopefully it's
So
gonna
its
happen.
primary use then will be to perform this program that we just talked
I
about.
I don't know if it's primary, but definitely that's
One of the
a big part of
benefits.
it, yeah,
A big benefit,
yeah.
a big part of that, a big benefit of buying a unit.
Yeah, between the paramedicine and certainly having another ALS unit. If Lenny's gone, Herschel's on standby, and ALS, that they can go do a scene until the next rate. This increases their coverage. Population.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Then we will do a roll call.
Johnston,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes.
Yax.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think that's all we have for finance. Yeah. So that would bring us to personnel.
We're good. Very easy. Or two.
Okay.
Well, other than I just, and so Lauren did bring it up, Rhiannon is going end of May for her MCAT, had to bring her total qualifications up now for that office. We require them to have their MCAT within a year of hiring, so she'll meet that easily. So that's
Okay. How's progress up there, Cheryl?
They're working on it, laptop guide.
All right, well
So
then,
as soon as she gets that presentation emailed to John, and he'll share his screen on his computer.
okay, in the meantime, then, we can have our treasurer's report then. I gave everybody a copy of the information, so.
For the investment?
I think, whatever you said, you to me to hand out there.
Oh, that was for the 911.
Oh, my bad, you're right, you're right. Oh, please proceed then.
All right. Where? This is 2023 overview of our investment. And it is the beginning balance for. We do have, actually here, this is the January statement. For the last few years. Somebody have.
Yeah, mine.
Okay. I'll give it to you when I'm done.
No problem.
So we were able to increase our investments from the beginning of the year, 783,905 to 2,392,269.01. I had come to you in July with the information in regards to the CDs of 1.2 million. There was that we had invested for the different funds that you see here. With the changeover of the bank, they changed their processing system they're going through John Henry, I believe now, where they had a different,
company they were utilizing at Huron Community Bank. That was quite a changeover in May. I don't know if anybody banks with Huron Community, but it's been a very interesting transformation. So this is what I have for those, and if there was any other individual questions, you can come to my office. I don't believe it would be appropriate for me to put those, big statements out on public record with all the information, nothing retracted or redacted. But any questions that you have in regards to this, feel free to contact me, and I will be more than happy to go over whatever you'd like. There was a holdup with, some of these, when I originally presented it, if there were two for 500,000, two additional $100,000 CDs that were purchased at a very good rate. The 2 6-months have been renewed. We got a higher rate on those, and there was cash in one of the funds that was a prior CD, and we reinvested that as well, which made a huge impact on the interest that.
Are we at like, we getting like 4 maybe or something?
4.5 on the majority of funds. Yeah, it's been very fruitful. I wish we could have had the time and the opportunity to see a few more things go in there, but I think we did pretty well for that. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Settlement, gotta go finish up paying everybody, because everybody wants their money. Got the townships all, with the exception of one township, waiting on that treasurer to get, back from vacation, and we'll do the settlement with her. It was, a very interesting new year for everybody. I've said that before, but we're hoping we'll be having a meeting, early in June to go over any little data issues or housekeeping issues that we've had. And see what the experiences are. We're looking at, from what I've been told, we'll have 2 new treasurers in the county, possibly 3. Hopefully no more than that. I will miss all of my experienced treasurers who are leaving. They've done a fantastic job, and everybody's done a fantastic job. Even the new ones we've had come in are, they're working hard, and really, it's a good group of people, and I hope that they stay for a long time.
Some of the ones we're losing have been at it for 25 years plus.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll be
Have
working with
they
them.
announced yet? Can you say their names?
Cindy Leesburg's one.
Oh.
I'm not saying anything.
I will. I was at that meeting, see publicly announced it at the Guston Township.
Esther's not, this Esther's name.
Unless it was announced at the meeting, we probably can't really say.
No.
That's the only reason I could say Cindy, because she announced it publicly at their last meeting.
Let's get a cup of coffee when I go pay my taxes.
Uh,
I don't know if the new people will do that.
All right, is that it?
Other than that, I don't really have, we're working on the information for the tax sale, which will be held, August 8th. Everything online as it was before. We have an upcoming case for, excess proceeds from the sale on the 23rd. That will be handled by Tom Michael, our prosecuting attorney.
Okay.
On your behalf. And, that's about all I have.
Thank you very much. Clerk's report.
Well, I do feel sorry for Cheryl, because I know the feeling of when you have someone who retires from the clerk position, but tries 6 brand new ones. Okay. We are taking in candidate filings still. That deadline elapses on the 23rd. We had a MERS audit, which I don't remember the last time MERS did an official, it's the first one since I've been clerk. But it was pretty in-depth. Oklahoma County is doing very well in reporting. There was a couple things to get corrected, but that's been taken care of. So we're all good and covered with our MERS. I our office does need to finish getting the stuff ready for the auditors. We probably got about half of it done. The opioid settlement, and I provided this to Sheila. There's an estimated amount of funds to be received for 2024, and it looks like it's roughly going to be $80,000. Because as they settle, right now we're only receiving from two of the defendants in the case, and there's upwards of 15 at this point, and they just keep adding on to them. So the second page shows, and they said that they'll be getting the first payment within the next few weeks, so that information was provided to the treasurer's office, so they'll know when that money gets there, what it was from, but doesn't that go into a separate? Okay. Okay, and so yeah,
Thank you. Good, you guys worked out for it. Okay, so no word on the presentation, so we'll go, communications are in your packets, browse at your leisure, and you can craft the committee report here. Greg?
Veterans do not have a meeting this week, we have one next week, so they have a new. I think they do have an opening with Max passing. I'm not sure if they're gonna they called and trying to make sure we were good with them beginning the process of looking for somebody. They have a couple of candidates that they're looking at, so get some names and take a look and see what you got. Building's doing well, front of it's finished, looks good. Broadband stuff. So, but we keep bringing this up, and I know there was an article in the paper, and I don't see Mary here, but I think you're for it. Get out the word, we've got until the end of the month to get to that portal, for the funding. So everybody in the county should go online, if you can get online and go through the portal to challenge whether or not your service is unserved, underserved, or properly served. The reason that matters is because as our EDC committee continues to try to find ISPs that will come in and use grant funding, they have to have a list of who is underserved or unserved in order to be able to get that funding. And if we don't have a good map showing who we got, then we don't get it. So we really gotta get as many people in that map as we possibly can to show that we need it. DC2, going well. Everything's on the building down here, anticipated opening on June 1, I think, right? 1st of June.
Depending on parking lot.
Yeah, in fact, I was gonna tell you, Corey offered, it's all, I wants to come out and look at it, but I think I reported that in the past, or Dave did, that they've offered that for one of our meetings, if we want to ever have a meeting down there, that would welcome us to be able to have our meetings in their brand new conference room with all the bells and whistles, so that's kind of neat. Parks and Rec, so we did meet, we are, I think, on a forward track. So we've got, we can still use one more member. We have an opening for one person on the board. Haven't put that out there yet. We're just trying to get our legs under us and go in a certain direction. We did have a pretty good turnout at our last meeting. So the Parks and Rec board in the past had given up the ORV grant and given it to the Forest Service. So there's a bunch of trails out all through the Forest Service land. And we do not maintain them anymore. We gave it up to the Forest Service, and the guys have decided they'd like to look back at getting into it. As you can tell by the weather, not just today, but in February, we don't really have snow anymore. And the guys have been operating basically as a snowmobile grant group. And the reality is snow is not around here now. So we're looking at getting involved more in the side-by-side than ORV and doing some trail stuff for them. We've got a pretty good group of people that are on them. I've spoken with them and they want to be active. That's been kind of the issue with the board. Everybody got kind of old, snowmobile guys, and nobody wants to go out and do trail work as much as they used to. So we've got a pretty good group of younger people who are doing side-by-sides, not snowmobiles. So we're going to try and sort of pivot a little bit and start pursuing an ORV track on the trails. Wish is the best. I mean, it's dealing with the DNR and the Parks and Rec division of the DNR and grant monies and such. But that was a good discussion, and we're in the works of trying to get that direction done. So, with that,
Dave,
Building and grounds, have completed Courtney B. Looks pretty good. Good job. They do have a leak in the roof again. They think they found it. We're gonna find out after today if they did. And,
Which one of the ones you had?
yeah, I think so. I don't know how many times they can keep coming back, but. And then part of, our register of deeds are completed their cabinet and their countertop with ARPA money that we did to finish that up, and they are happy, so that was great. And that's what I have.
what, besides, well, finance, I don't really have anything important, so, Terry.
Just I attended a meeting at CMH last week. Was seated on their board again along with body communities. Nothing to report from them. I mean, they're going on. Did spend the morning with the consumers talking about their plans, and they're trying to get input from the communities that if they were to shut down the dams, to what are we gonna do, what's it gonna look like. They're asking, it's mostly for input right now, but you can't go online and do that. He hasn't said anything, but he should introduce himself. Please go ahead, because he was also at the.
Yeah, again, I'm Rob Pellerito, District Director for Senator Michelle Hoyinga. I've attended the dam meetings with consumers. They kicked off on Monday in Mayo and the Iosco, for the 4 dams in Iosco. And it's, yeah, a prosperity group that they're wanting the input from the local community members, the business leaders and leaders in government, to work with consumers on steering their decision, or steering what the outcome of their decision will be, whether they shut the dams down or they sell them. So it's been pretty interesting, getting to know your community members in those areas. And just let you know that the senator is here to help. She's from the Manistee River area, so again, Tippy Dam and Hodenpile Dam are dams and lakes that she grew up on. So they are very important, and understands the importance to your communities, these impoundments and recreation areas, because really all that land that surrounds them are parks and recreation, designated as such. So we're of help wherever, and if that means legislation, or if that just means a voice, but ultimately it's consumers' property, and they will come up with a decision at some point.
Excuse me. One of the things I came out of it is that they do have prospective buyers to maybe buy the dams. Where I think that was an idea that they didn't even. Couldn't believe that there'd be anybody who did the same, but they have some very viable buyers that are out there apparently, so they're going through that process. It's gonna take a while. I think they're just starting to do the interviews, and so we'll be down the road, but we'll should know with me here.
Terry, do you know if there's any? Is there any? Consequences, consumer sells all that, like Elkhorn Park, that's all on consumers' leased land.
Yes.
And Rob, you're not in your head, you know something about this? I mean, what will happen if the new buyer would own it? Could they renegotiate the lease?
The FERC license requires that there be a certain amount of recreational property or areas for the people. That is in the license, so they can't just sell it or eliminate it, or so their FERC licensing, which would be transferred to the new owner, they will also need to have, you know, camping lands and beaches or what, so heavy, whatever's there.
And I-
So I wouldn't expect any big changes, other than in this agreement is consumers will purchase the power from the new owner. So that kind of gives them a little incentive. They have a buyer for that, and then the new owner won't be a public utility like consumers is. So they'll have some incentives federally, federal dollars. So that kind of offsets that expense, or where consumers is losing, they say they're losing money on operating and maintaining, so.
I got the drift that consumers is also, if somebody was to buy it, that they would put in their contracts going forward, that there would still be a part for facilities and stuff like that. Not only is it already in there, but they would make it even more so.
Yeah, between Asco County with Old Orchard Park and our park and.
Mile.
Mile.
Good revenue sources.
Yes, and literally, so supports our whole town of Fountain,
Mhm.
and they were pretty vocal today about it.
Yes, sir. Rightly so.
Can we talk another thing about power since I got you here? Now, how much did the senator influence, or did she have anything with Viking and extending our contract there to keep them open? Was she able, I mean, as far as we know, is that, you know that, right, Adam? Is that,
Oh,
did you get extended?
Well, they got denied
Denied
their
the
permit to
proposal.
decommission it.
Right.
Yeah, it was announced to us as well.
Okay.
Them in Cadillac.
Yeah,
Where it goes from here.
yeah, the senator got a notice that, you know, a meeting real quick, that just before the public announcement, which wasn't. Yeah.
That's all I have.
Carolyn.
Do you have another comment? We had a 2-on-1 executive committee meeting yesterday. Our quarterly meeting for the full board is in May. It will be at Delta College. Also earlier, at the end of last week, had a 2-on-1 finance committee meeting. There's a Hunt board meeting here on Friday at 11. There's an opioid meeting a week from today at 1:30. The CLIB had their quarterly meeting last Friday, and they accepted bids for the weed treatment from Solitude. They had been submitted at our prior meeting. There were 4 people who bid, 4 entities that bid. And the recommendation from our individual that reviews those was to go with Solitude, who has done it for a number of years for us. Their next meeting is moved from the 12th to the 19th. It's the third Tuesday, I'm sorry, third Friday, rather than the second Friday in the month in July. And piggyback on the Alcona Dam. The Alcona Dam is celebrating its 100th year, and there's a celebration May 17th and 18th. 17th is primarily for consumers, and the 18th is for the public, although they are asking. Do you want to think about the tickets? That, I know it says on their thing, their website, that tickets will be available, but you have to submit a request for them. But, I don't even, but it still will be the celebration of the Alcona Dam, 100 years old at that point. And that's kind of the extent of it.
The Rich Castle did say he would send a link out.
So I just.
Eventbrite link.
There's one on here, there's a link to the
Yeah,
website,
there you go.
Eventbrite.
The one I got from Rich a couple of days ago did not, indicate how we go about getting those tickets. So I don't know if it is.
Yeah, I
He
think,
just sent this at 2:00.
yeah, we
Okay.
just.
Getting the tickets.
Yep, how to get the ticket.
If I may, I had an interesting set of phone calls that started last week, ran over into this week. Gentleman called me whose father worked at the Alcona Dam. He is a retired Consumers Energy employee. He's 98 years old. He still drives. He got married 6 years ago, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, I connected Rich with them, so hopefully they'll, you know, kind of have a little special place for him. But I thought it was really cool that we have somebody that's almost as old as the dam is. Who was a Consumers employee. And that's all.
Okay, so it looks like our presentation must be ready to go. I'll let you have the floor.
Thank you. First of all, I apologize for being late. I've had numerous technical difficulties, the latest of which is the plug to my laptop is not seating properly, and so battery ran down, so I'm holding it. If this poops out on us, I will just talk through what I've got, and I will send you the PDF.
Do you want a chair to sit in? And
Or do you want somebody to hold? the
It might be
phone?
fine if we got a low battery. Again, I apologize, but anyways, my name, I'll just jump in. If I see low battery, I'll hold it. My name is Elisa Seltzer. I'm with RRS, which stands for Resource Recycling Systems. I'm working with Alpena County and NEMCOG and representing them today. Nico couldn't be here. He apologized. He did send his regards. I also want to let you know that my husband's family had a hunting camp up here just northeast of Curran from the 70s for like 50, 60 years. So my husband, as a kid growing up, spent all his time here. My kids grew up spending summers here. I live in Northwest Michigan, in Emmett County, but really thrilled and honored to be able to be with you today. It's close to my heart. It's shutting down. Oh, do you believe it? Oh my God. Okay, well,
it's all right.
it died. That's what this laptop does. I have a really nice presentation that I can't show you. So I'm just gonna talk through it. I'll send you the PDF, and I do apologize. So the background is, and I did meet with some of you fine folks at the Landfill Authority a little over a month ago. And the state is calling for plans, for solid waste plans. Well, they used to be solid waste plans, and now they're material management plans. I believe you've talked about this here at this board. And you've signed your CAA as a representative county. So you're already very familiar with that. A lot of what's in our trash can be recycled, and the state has a renewed focus on ensuring that efforts are made as part of the planning process to consider what else can be done with one's one's trash, recycle, compost, whatever. So what's different this time is instead of the old solid waste plans, relied on, their big focus was, do you have enough landfill capacity? And it's been that way for 50 years. Now the state really wants counties to focus on, what are you doing to work on recovery? So manage materials instead of throwing them out, preserve landfill space, and get materials back into use, products and packaging, instead of throwing them out. So in January of this year, the Eagle director called for plans. So the clock is ticking on planning. Typically, NEMCOG has done your plan, and I know there's been a good relationship over the years. When we had this meeting a little over a month ago, all the counties came together. It was 5 counties total. Montmorency, Oscoda, Alcona, Alpena, and Iosco. And all talk together about planning together as a group. When you plan together as a group, each county gets more money from the state. So there's an incentive for everyone to plan together. And typically NEMCOG would just say, we'll be the designated planning agency. We'll help you do all this. But there's been an evolution that we're seeing in the state that whoever has the recycling facility or the recovery program hub might make sense to serve in that role as the designated planning agency. So what came out of that meeting was that Alpena County, that has a recycling facility that they are investing a lot of money in, about $6 million, to turn it into a regional recycling facility. And they want to include Alcona in that. And they would like to serve as a designated planning agency for the region, for the 5 counties. if there's interest in that, I mean, there's a resolution, you can consider it. The clock is ticking to sort of figure that out, get an interlocal agreement signed among the 5 counties, and establish a committee. We don't have to establish a committee yet, but we need to understand the representation between the 5 counties to get that together. So that's really like the work that's being considered now. NEMCOG or I or Alpena is going to each county and saying, do you want to plan together? We did hear a consensus at that meeting that there was interest, but again, that will take a board action, and I think I shared a draft resolution. So there are a lot of benefits to planning together. One is the money. The other is having this shared vision to increase recovery and increase opportunities for people to recycle, to save money, and to have a regional facility instead of materials being either shipped just to the landfill or shipped much further away. The Alpena facility has room to grow. They've got land at the airport. They've outgrown their current space. So they would be investing in a totally new facility that's designed to handle the recyclables of the surrounding area. So before July 6th, and again, I will send you this presentation and can always come back if there are questions. Bring a resolution for consideration back to this board. And, just ensure that there's agreement that you want to be part of this multi-county group and that you're okay with Alpena serving as a designated planning agency. Alpena is going to be supported by both NEMCOG and RRS. The funds that are going to come to your county as the CAA are going to come every year for 5 years, and then it's going to start over again with the plan update. And what's different this time from the past is the money coming from Eagle. Once you have a plan, you can spend those state dollars on programming. So you can start investing that money into the solutions that you put into the plan for that vision of whatever it is. So, so let's see, what else do I want to share? Let me tell you, since you can't see the slide, I'll just give you a sense of the kind of dollars that we're talking about. I don't know if this was shared in the past. If you were planning alone, it would be $60,000 a year for 3 years plus 50 cents per capita. And then the next 2 years, just $60,000 a year. If you plan with others, it's $70,000 a year plus 50 cents per capita for the first 3 years, and then $70,000 for the next 2 years. So over a 3-year period, not including the last 2 for Alcona, $225,000. So it's not nothing, it's something. And the cost, what's being recommended, the interlocal agreement, we don't have yet. I'll probably have a draft within a week. Alpena wants to review it first since they would serve as the DPA. But the kinds of things that are in there is how the committee will be established, so it's fair and representative of the 5 counties, and how much money and where it goes. So what's being recommended is that each county would put in their first year of the 5 years of $70,000 into the DPA kitty. Keep the per capita, the other whatever 12,000 it is for whatever, your own costs of participating in the planning process. The goal is that we can get the plan done in the first year and a half with just those dollars, and all the rest of the planning dollars you get to keep, get the plan approved and then invest that money in whatever systems or programs or things, whether it's, electronic recycling day once a year, or some drop sites that can be hauled for processing for standard recyclables. I mean, that's what the planning committee will be doing. The plan, Eagle is saying, oh, it's going to be 150 pages. That's going to have to be written by us and NEMCOG. But what's most important is what happens between when the committee is established and the plan is written. And that's where each county is going to come to the table with your representation and look at best practices and considerations for what you would like to do that aligns with meeting the state's benchmark recycling standards, because there is some statutory requirements that there's at least one drop site for your standard recyclables in the county that's accessible to everyone. I think that's, or maybe it's per 10,000 people. It's something like that, but there is a benchmark one needs to reach. And that's part of what the planning process will do. The other thing is that each county, whatever is distinct to your county, will have its own section in the plan. We have not seen the guidelines or the template yet from Eagle, but we're prepared to be responsive and, best represent your county as best we can. So I guess at this point, I'll just open it up for questions because you couldn't see any of my pictures, so sorry.
So our representation is you and Dave, that's who ours will be? Yeah. So you're RRS.
Yes,
So you're the current consultant with Alpena and what they're doing,
Yes.
you've been involved with them?
correct.
So are they anticipating changing the construction of their facility based on a regional facility now? Are they gonna expand what their original plan was? Can you say that or?
The original plan is a regional facility.
Oh, so they were already anticipating.
Yes, so actually the last time anyone wrote a plan, was like 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
Your plan says Alpena is gonna be our hub.
So they're building, what the facility they're planning on building is anticipating the needs of these 5 counties.
Yes,
Okay.
yep,
And you're gonna be the lead with NEMCOG. NEMCOG and Nico are gonna work with you.
absolutely,
And
yep,
even if we wouldn't have chose you, NEMCOG would have probably, subcontracted you to start with.
yes. NEMCOG is working with other counties in their district, and we are gonna be supporting them with those counties. So IRS has probably supported plans in northern Michigan and the UP. We've sort of been the consultant of choice for decades and decades and decades. And if you look at really, really successful programs that have been self-sustaining from back in the 90s, the last time there was planning and state funding, you look at Marquette, if you look at Emmett, if you look at Grand Traverse, IRS was the little mice running in the background, helping them figure it all out. So we feel really, well-positioned to support whatever you decide.
You were bringing some papers today.
I do have some papers. Yes, they're in the hallway. I'll be right back.
Happiest garbage lady there, man.
Has there been a discussion as far as,
Board.
5 county board?
Well, I think
Yes.
they have it set out, one person per county. They have a hauler. They have.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's requirements of who's gonna be on it.
No, it's gonna be more than that.
There's requirements by the state.
Yes.
Who's going to be
Yeah,
on it.
represented on there.
Who's gonna be on
Have that where
Where are those?
the representative is on the board, or do you have that?
I can tell you, yeah, absolutely.
We have it in our email too, Carolyn, there's a whole plan on what we have.
Because like the haulers are represented. And
All the stakeholders that are in it.
Yes.
She's gonna tell.
At least one other question, when you said, so the money that's available over the 5 years, you said programming, is that also for assets too? So if we wanted to build a roof over our recycling thing we have now,
Absolutely.
that could be done.
Letting it in here, it should be in here. Oh, here we go. Okay. So, I can't see the whole slide. All right. One representative is a solid waste disposal facility operator, a managed materials hauler. Any solid waste, construction debris, recycling. One materials recovery facility operator. So that would be like a recycling facility. One compost or anaerobic digester facility operator. One waste diversion, reuse, or reduction facility operator. This could be like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army if you had that kind of, it could be, again, these are divided across all 5 counties. One environmental interest group. One elected official from a county, township, city, or village. And then I can't see the other ones on here for some reason. There's several others.
So one of them from each county,
No,
No,
so here's,
one for the whole.
this is how it's being proposed. We don't want a 40-person committee. Each county can pick representative, county, township, city, so you'll get one. You also can pick one person representing a business that has managed materials. So it's gotta be someone that's actually creating waste to recycling in the county. Each county gets those two. The other 11 are gonna get divided among the 5 counties. This will be determined by the DPA, which should be Alpena County and NEMCOG. What we're proposing is whatever each county does to look for interest in a committee, to post that, listing all the positions, asking for letters of interest and asking them to align with which one. And say you get 3 compost operators all interested, you decide, you give us, you send, not us, Alpena, NEMCOG, send your proposed slate, knowing you're not gonna get all of them, you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, because it's gonna be divided up. And who you want for your municipal representative or county representative, and whether you want it, they're optional if you want to add a business interest in addition. So you post it, you bring that together. Alpena and NEMCOG and us will look at all the slates and balance it so it's fair and representative. That's gonna come back to you. In 2 ways, at least what's proposed right now in the interlocal agreement. One will say, these are the 3, 4 people from your county for these positions, please appoint them. This is the rest of the slate, please approve it. Authorized to move forward with this slate. There needs to be back and forth, there will be back and forth. It's more likely to be Nico involved in those conversations because he knows you, he knows all the other people. But that's how it's proposed to work at this point. There's no guidance from the state on how to put together a multi-county committee. All they say is that the counties do the appointment. So it will be your responsibility to choose those people representing your county. The other thing that's in the ILA, the interlocal agreement, is between now and July 6th, when you have to submit that notice of intent, each CAA has to hit that button. With this information, the interlocal agreement needs to be in there. One person from each county for us to get our heads together, virtually or otherwise, to hammer out all this stuff so everyone's comfortable with what's in that agreement. So when it goes back to all 5 counties, you're all willing to sign that same thing.
One other question.
Go ahead.
I know we don't know this, but so is the money gonna last? I mean, this is going, do they have dedicated funds to make
Yes.
this last for years?
Yes, this is gonna last for years. So I don't know if you remember the Wayfair court case, the internet tax.
Yes.
It's like $142 million and growing. There's so much money in that fund, my understanding. I don't know. I'm sure someone knows. That there's like 15 or 25 million or something that goes to Eagle, and there's 9 or 15 million dedicated to planning. So this money every single year, and at the end of the 5 years, it's gonna rinse and repeat. It's time for a plan update.
Depending on what the percentage of us increasing our recycling.
Well, it's performance based. You do better, you get more money or not?
They need to see that you're making progress towards the goals in your plan, but you determine your goals. It's got to include that benchmark. You know, the state has their goal of 45% recycling, as long as you're showing progress.
So the plant, the program in Alpena has that per parcel or per whatever fee. Is that an Alpena thing or is that a state?
So that's Act 138. Iosco County is actually working on that right now. I just came from their meeting, one of the reasons I was late. So Michigan, so RRS, we work all across the country. We do a lot of planning processes for a lot of states. Michigan does not have a lot of great funding tools in its toolbox. Public Act 138 is one of those tools. It allows up to $25 per household per year. So it's 50 cents a week. That could fund a recycling drop site program, pretty much. And that would be your operating funds. If you establish that funding mechanism, which is what we're working on in Iosco County, you'll get a grant from Eagle to buy the equipment. For, you know, Iosco got I think like it's about a $200,000 grant to get recycle bins, do site improvements, surveillance cameras, educational material. 25, and Alpena's been using it for a long time. I think they start at like 12 or 14 per household, but the law allows up to 25.
So I guess my question is,
Mhm.
so this regional entity would not necessarily be able to put that on all of the households on its own. It would still have to originate from the county.
Yeah, you decide your own funding mechanism. You can do something totally different. You can do a millage, you can do a bake sale, it's like whatever. But that, I mean, that's the hard work of the planning committee, really, is figuring that out. Yeah, but you'll see that 50 to 70,000 every year coming in to help support it, which is pretty cool. And it's more than the state's provided for years for this, so, yeah. You had a question?
I think you answered it. Thank you.
I did? Okay.
Anybody else?
You take that computer to the next electronics. garbage dump thing.
You have no idea how many times I've had to deal with tech support on this laptop. I told them it was a lemon from the beginning, but until it well, it crashed and burned, right? Maybe now's the time.
Drop it in the dumpster.
Yep, yep.
Okay,
Anything
thank you
else?
very much.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay,
I'd like to ask this,
Oh, I didn't hear that. Legal, I think it's the eagle.
Legal.
Legal,
Not
or legal eagle.
all right, then we're at our last section of public comment. Does anybody like to have anything to say?
Adam,
Yes,
if I could during public comment.
sure.
I just forgot to, go over, I believe it was Friday, April 5th. Terry and I were out to Curtis Township to meet with their board for a special meeting. And they have a lot going on out there, obviously, and they, the current clerk who was supposed to be done, she resigned. Was going to be in March, and she extended it to get through the May election that they're gonna be having. And now during that meeting, she has since rescinded her resignation. She'll stay on for the rest of her term, which was extremely helpful as far as like elections were concerned, and to help her township out, given their current situation, to look for a clerk and a supervisor. They did make a determination at that meeting to put an ad into the paper. And ads were due as of yesterday at 4 PM for any letters of interest as far as the supervisor was concerned. And they meet again on the 18th, so they'll know more of how they're going to proceed as far as the supervisor position was concerned as a board. So they had a couple of different ideas of how they wanted to proceed, but that was the start, was to get letters of interest to get somebody appointed. Because from the time of Max passing, they had 45 days. So they're moving along, so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Steph, for going to that meeting.
Yes, thank you for being there for support.
Anybody else, public comment?
I
Yes,
came here for Curtis Township Library. They want to have a millage renewal in August, but I think we're going to be on the next agenda. But also it's just a renewal. It's for 10 years. I brought the language, but also, they are having on May 13th, something on the 100th anniversary of the Alcona Dam too, so. We're doing stuff there too.
okay, great, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then we will, any more comments, concerns, commissioners? Okay, then we'll adjourn the meeting till, May 1st.
Denise,
Yes.
I have questions. Well, because Curtis has now come, the library has now come under the county.
But they have to have a separate board because the township.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.